Welcome to the Wealth Pocket. You were taught to behave. Not to win, not to build, not to escape, to behave. Sit still, follow instructions, wait your turn, don't question authority, don't take risks, don't stand out. From the beginning, your value was measured by how easy you were to manage. And you were rewarded for it. Gold stars, grades, promotions, titles, but not freedom. Good behavior doesn't create wealth. It creates reliability, and reliability is useful to systems, to corporations, to institutions, not to you. Obedience is trained early. Look closely at school. You weren't rewarded for independent thinking. You were rewarded for compliance. Sit quietly for hours. Memorize what you're told. Repeat it back. Don't challenge the structure. Creativity was tolerated only when it didn't disrupt order. Those who questioned too much were labeled difficult. Those who obeyed were labeled smart. By adulthood, the lesson was complete. Safety comes from following rules. Approval comes from behaving properly. Risk equals danger. This mindset does not disappear. It becomes your operating system. The workplace rewards the most manageable. At work, good behavior looks like arriving early, staying late, never pushing back, never asking for ownership, never questioning compensation. You are praised for being dependable, for being loyal, for being professional. But professionalism is not power. It is containment. The most obedient employees are not promoted fastest. They are retained longest. Because the system doesn't want thinkers. It wants stabilizers. People who keep things running exactly as they are. Wealth requires discomfort. Wealth is built in areas where rules are unclear. Negotiation, ownership, leverage, asymmetry. These spaces reward people who are willing to ask for more, risk embarrassment, ignore social approval, break expectations. Good behavior avoids discomfort. Wealth demands it. That's why most people never cross the line. They don't lack intelligence. They lack tolerance for social friction. The fear of being judged. Good behavior is fear in disguise. Fear of being judged. Fear of being rejected. Fear of being seen as greedy, selfish, irresponsible. So people stay quiet. They don't negotiate. They don't experiment. They don't build in public. They wait for permission. Permission never comes. Why the system needs you well behaved. The economy depends on predictability. Predictable workers. Predictable consumers. Predictable debt holders. Good behavior creates predictability. You show up. You get paid. You spend. You repeat. Wealth disrupts this cycle. So behavior is conditioned early and reinforced daily. Rules are for those without leverage. Notice something important. Rules are enforced downward. Those with leverage negotiate rules. Those without leverage obey them. Contracts can be rewritten. Terms can be changed. Prices can be adjusted, but only by those willing to challenge the structure. Good behavior keeps you locked inside preset boundaries. The myth of playing it safe. Playing it safe feels responsible. But safety has a hidden cost. Lost upside, lost time, lost compounding. The biggest financial risks are invisible. Staying in the same role too long. Never owning anything. Never testing ideas. Never failing publicly. Good behavior chooses comfort today over freedom tomorrow. Why smart people get stuck here. Intelligent people understand consequences. That's the problem. They overanalyze risk. They wait for certainty. They calculate endlessly. Meanwhile, less obedient individuals act. Not because they're smarter, but because they're less controlled by approval. Escape requires a new identity. To build wealth, you must unlearn behaviors that once kept you safe. You must become less agreeable, less predictable, less dependent on validation. This does not mean becoming reckless. It means becoming selective about whose rules you follow. The final realization: good behavior will earn you praise. It will earn you stability. It will earn you permission to stay where you are. But it will not earn you wealth. Because wealth is built by those willing to be misunderstood. The question isn't whether you work hard. Good behavior is a learned pattern. It begins early. It is rewarded consistently. It is reinforced socially. The purpose is not success. The purpose is compliance. Individuals who follow instructions are easier to manage. Individuals who follow rules are predictable. Predictability is valuable to systems. It is not valuable to individuals seeking wealth. Conditioning phase. Children are trained to follow schedules. They are evaluated on obedience. They are corrected for deviation. Original thinking is permitted only when it aligns with structure. Disruption is penalized. Over time, obedience becomes identity. Risk becomes associated with danger. Approval becomes currency. This conditioning persists into adulthood. Workplace translation. In professional environments, good behavior is labeled as professionalism. Arriving on time, avoiding conflict, accepting assigned compensation, avoiding negotiation. These behaviors are rewarded with stability, not ownership, not leverage. The most compliant individuals are retained, not elevated. Wealth operates outside behavioral norms. Wealth accumulation occurs in ambiguous environments. Negotiation, ownership structures, information asymmetry, risk exposure. These environments are uncomfortable. They do not reward politeness. They do not reward obedience. They reward initiative and tolerance for friction. Social fear mechanism. Good behavior is reinforced by fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of social penalty. As a result, individuals avoid visibility. They avoid asking for more. They avoid being misunderstood. They wait for permission. Permission is not issued. System dependency. Economic systems rely on consistency. Consistent labor, consistent consumption, consistent debt servicing. Good behavior produces consistency. Wealth creation introduces instability. Instability is discouraged. Rule application. Rules are not applied equally. Those with leverage negotiate terms. Those without leverage comply. Behavior determines position. Position determines flexibility. Good behavior limits leverage acquisition. Misinterpretation of safety. Safety is perceived as stability. Stability reduces volatility. Stability also limits upside. Long-term risk often appears as short-term comfort. Good behavior optimizes for present approval, not future autonomy. Cognitive restraint. High intelligence increases risk awareness. Increased awareness increases hesitation. Action is delayed by analysis. Opportunity expires during calculation. Less constrained individuals act sooner. Behavioral reconstruction. Wealth acquisition requires behavioral divergence. Reduced agreeableness. Reduced dependency on approval. Selective rule adherence. This is not recklessness. It is prioritization. Termination statement. Good behavior produces stability. Stability produces dependence. Dependence prevents wealth. The system benefits from your behavior. You do not. End of narration.